Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? And cheers to you from Thailand. I'm the second day of coffee, so this is a watermelon juice. Mm, cheers to that. Not actively detoxing, but I decided to, get out of the habit of always ordering a coffee as soon as I enter a cafe. Right now, I'm sitting in a cafe in beautiful Koh Phangan, Thailand, and I thought today is a good day to actually welcome new members and have a general live session about the digital nomad lifestyle, to introduce a little bit my story, give you a bit more background on who I am, because some people might have just entered this group and don't know me at all. So I will summary of my 10 years of living the digital nomad lifestyle. And then I will also answer questions around how you can actually design this life yourself. And lastly, I will go into a few of the most frequently asked questions that people are asking throughout my one-on-one coaching sessions that I do around the digital nomad lifestyle. And if you're joining live, please comment below and hashtag live, ask me all your questions. I try to answer all of them. If you watch the replay, hashtag replay, and I come back to your questions as well. I appreciate everyone who is participating as you might know and guess. So yeah, my story. I'll have another sip of this beautifully decorated watermelon juice first. My story started actually in 2011, or I should say a little bit before that, because I'm originally from Germany and I used to work as a PR and marketing consultant in an agency back in Munich. And I was in love with my job. I did a lot of cool things. Like, it was an exciting job. I, I I got to go to many events with famous soccer players. I was doing the PR marketing for a brewery, so there was always something going on, and it was a fun time, a very work intense time though. And I slowly but surely, after the years in this job, I noticed that I, yes, I was earning a lot of money, and yes, I had an exciting job, but at the same time, I was getting more and more exhausted, and I didn't pay attention to the signs at first. And I noticed that my body was just, yeah, starting to send me signs to slow me down. And then I realized, yeah, something was missing. I wasn't really happy. I was more and more feeling frustrated by the fact that I was working for someone else's dream, and instead of for really looking towards my life and my dream and what I wanted to do with life, in general. And then luckily, I have to say, I fell sick. I was first I had a cough, like a fever. Yeah, I wasn't feeling well, and all the medication that I took didn't help me. So I stayed in bed for more than 3 weeks, which was pretty unusual for me. I never felt sick, so I was like, okay, something is happening here. I need to start listening, and I did. And I was looking for clues, and I'm a big believer that if you're open-minded and look out for the clues that life is throwing towards you in your way, that you just have to, pick them up as you go, like breadcrumbs. And a friend of mine, she just came back from a year, an expat year, like sorry, sabbatical year in Mexico, and she was so pumped, so super energized from that experience. And she said, "Oh, it was the best decision ever. You should just go and travel for a while," because it was really life changing for her. And even though she now, after that year, went back to her normal life, corporate job again, for her still it was something really crucial in that stage of her life. And when I listened to her, something in me was already saying yes, 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 but the other side in me was saying, wow, that's crazy. How can she do that? How can she, you know, leave her job or her career for an entire year? How will people ever hire her afterwards? And all these fears and questions that come up. And then I didn't know back then that I was so conditioned from the society. Obviously, I was brought up in a very standard family, traditional parents. They were sending me to high school, to university, did all the good things that parents wanted to do in life for me, and I followed the traditional path. But no one ever told me that there is a life outside that. And then, luckily, until I actually was able to break out and see other people living a completely alternative lifestyle, and that there was a way outside the system and outside in the world, but that's future from the point from the old me that I'm just reporting right now. That was still not even real, or I didn't even have those thoughts back then. But I did quit my job. I sold all my belongings because intuitively I noticed that keeping my stuff would tie me emotionally, and that would also limit myself. I didn't know exactly when I wanted to be back, and knowing that I had to store my things somewhere would always make me come back eventually, which I planned because I thought I would start my own agency uh, when I went back after the trip. And I already had a business partner, my former colleague, and we wanted to start that communications agency. So that was a plan for me to go back. But even though I was completely acting intuitively and so the things, I didn't keep my apartment, and I bought a one-way ticket. It was an open ticket, not one way, but it did go one way, but it was meant to go in a circle around the world. And I had 1 year in total to go through all the places that are on that route. And like I said, I told everyone back home, I will be back in 6 months maximum. And each time I got to a new place, I called the airline saying, I need to extend. I can't take this flight in 2 days or in a week. I have to spend more time here, and the flexibility of that flight ticket made it possible for me to extend each time, and that turned into an entire year of travel. During that year, sorry, I was not thinking even about getting a job or or creating a new life. It was completely, I was so in, I need to just, charge my batteries, soak up everything that's out there. I was on a mission to tick off as many sites as possible. I was so in travel mode that I didn't even think about doing that for longer than a year. And I thought, it's my only year. And now I extended from half a year to a year. I will have to make the most out of it because I will never get to travel that long in my whole life. And I ended up spending all my savings, almost all my savings, and obviously I budgeted for 6 months only. And then I got sadder and sadder the more I moved towards that end of the year, because I knew I eventually have that return ticket um, to Germany, and I didn't want it. The more stories I heard from people that I met on the road, and the more examples that life showed me, the less I wanted my old life back. And then on top of that, I met my partner in the desert of Chile. That was in the last quarter of my first travel year. And we had the most romantic falling in love story. It was literally love at first sight. I know it sounds cheesy and unbelievable, but it's true. Never happened to me before either. Hopefully, it will never happen again. No. And so yeah, we ended up falling in love in an instant, and I was like, okay, no, well, I'm still I'm a grown-up girl, and I was almost 30 then. I knew that those Latino Americans, he's from Chile, uh, can't be all too serious as far as I heard the rumors. And so I just got to know him a little bit, but then after a few days, I said goodbye. I took the bus and I left, and I kept on with my travel route. And that was it, I thought. But my inner voice again was stronger and was nagging me, and it kept on nagging me. And then we obviously kept in touch. We have Facebook, and it happened that my trip, I went through Chile and then Argentina. I did all the loop down to Ushuaia, uh, the classical route that you do when you backpack through South America. I did all that. And then from Santiago de Chile, I was meant to fly back to Germany. So I messaged him saying, I'm again back in your capital city, but I'm about to leave to Germany. Would you like to say one last time goodbye in person? And he said, of course I will. And we had another couple of days together before my flight was actually leaving. And then I ended up canceling the flight, totally reacting again out of my gut feeling and emotionally. And I said, okay, I will only be able to stay with you if I find a job, because now I'm really low on funds. And that was when my digital nomad journey actually became real, or started. And so, long story short, obviously, I could fill hours talking about what happened next. Comment below if it interests you, so I can make another session just about how this story, the personal story, evolved. But I will fast forward now. So initially, yes, we traveled for a while. We went back to the desert place where we met, and I got a job in a hotel as a marketing consultant there. They hired me, even though my Spanish was a bit rusty after not using it for 5 years. I did study it in at university, but South American Spanish wasn't the one that I learned back in Spain. So yes, I ended up having a job, and I liked it. It was fun, and it gave me a time to think and also get to know this guy a bit more before I told him, okay, yes, you are the real deal. Let's continue together. So yeah, we definitely grew fond of each other and decided to keep traveling. Then we left that continent, and I was on my first year on my solo backpacking year. I was so fascinated by Asia. I loved my initial route was India, and then Southeast Asia, and I wanted to go back, and we picked Thailand for a start, because then I thought the easiest way to maybe get started is to find a job in a dive shop, because that was what everyone was doing when I traveled through there. All the backpackers had a job in a dive shop, and I love scuba diving, and I had the plan to simply become certified and then yeah, take people on dive trips. That was the vision when we got to Thailand, but it turned out to be not. Yeah, it didn't work out for us, and we met a Chilean guy in Bangkok who recommended going to Australia because there the jobs are so easy to get. And then yeah, we ended up going to Australia, stayed there for more than a year, did those classical backpacker jobs. But I have to say, even though I tried to get those classical, working on a farm or in a bar, in a hotel and restaurant, what do you do when you're young and do the work and travel thing? Um, yes, I did a bunch of them too, but always there would pop up some emails from former clients asking for remote help. I worked, so I constantly kept on working in marketing in my old career, which was gold because this, first of all, helped me a lot with my mindset. It showed me it was possible to make money online in a very easy way. So I didn't have to look for what can I do. It was already like presented to me, which back then was really helpful. Back then, not so many people like nowadays had those remote jobs or were after an online career. Probably just because of that, I transitioned very easily into first a freelancer. So after Australia, I worked on my portfolio, I worked on my online client base, and I was doing a lot of freelance work, copywriting, marketing consultations, running social media accounts for other people, small business owners, entrepreneurs. And then over the years, I created my travel blog slash digital nomad brand, J Jetter, which was then becoming my my brand, the online platform where people would connect with me, get to know me, where a lot of clients found me, where I got invites for public speaking, podcast interviews, where I started monetizing the site through affiliate marketing, through advertisement, sponsored posts. So this was becoming a second stream of income, and slowly but surely it dawned up on me, because it's a process, right? It dawned on me that having your eggs in different baskets is a smart thing to do, and I ended up creating multiple income streams. So the blog, the guest posts, the advertisement, affiliate marketing that I just mentioned, speaking gigs, aside from the coaching parts, and then I wrote an ebook, and so on and so forth, helped us to actually make this lifestyle sustainable. And my partner Claudio, who's still the one that I met in the desert of Chile, and who is now the dad of our two sons, he at the same time worked on his career, and he became or transitioned from, he's actually originally an engineer, but he picked up very quickly on web design, graphic design, and is now currently going through a front end developer course. So this was a very useful combination. So we did a lot of client projects together when we worked on small business owner projects like that I just mentioned. And that's a little bit the backstory of why we are able to do that and have been doing it for 10 years. That's how when I meet people, and I have coaching sessions with people who come and say they want to get my advice on how can they do it, how can I, and I'm moving on to the second part of this live video today, how to design your digital nomad life. I always start by saying, first of all, you have to be open-minded. Becoming a digital nomad is not a thing that you decide one day and you will be it the next day. It's a process. um, Ideally you do it not the way I did it. You plan it from your home, from the comfort of your home, before you jump into the cold water. You plan it, you lay out a strategy, you know exactly how you will make the money from the road before you leave. Um, and then you can enjoy this lifestyle a lot more, because truth is, I mean, there were marketing gigs coming my way, but it wasn't in the beginning, it wasn't something consistent or something planned, because I didn't have that strategy and I didn't have that setup. But that's why I set up a coaching business dedicated to help people who want to transition into a digital nomad lifestyle because I now know what parts are crucial and where you actually have to lay your focus on first in order to transition from your 9 to 5 to a digital nomad life. If I feel that there's a resistance, if I feel that my clients come with inner beliefs, sabotaging voices that they're struggling with, that are holding them back, then I go into a deep dive of mindset work. And some people are completely ready. No, I want to leave. I nothing holds me here anymore. All I need to know is the practical part. How do I make money online, and where is best to get started location wise, and how can I actually do that? um, then is when I come in and say, okay, make a plan, make a like a generous plan, not a month, because there's so many things to consider. Should I keep my home base as a backup or as a recurring income, a monthly income if you find a tenant, someone who has a home, a house or an apartment that can be rented out, can live off the income that you make monthly from that rent easily in countries like Thailand or in other parts of the world where it's a lot cheaper than probably on average. And that's one thing to consider. But then saying this, for me, for example, mm, the most liberating feeling was back then when I really cut loose, all ends loose, back in 2011. I didn't want to have all those emotional attachments, strings to my home country, to my things, obligations, with my landlord or something like that. So you have to make a decision what type of personality you are and what type you prefer now. Because to be honest, I mean, if you ever ended up not liking the digital nomad lifestyle, and after half a year you find out you want to go back home, create your home again, how cool is that? I mean, embrace the change. I cannot repeat myself um, often enough, because you can always, yes, I mean, we get attached to houses, things, material things, and they have memories, and we value them. But then if you zoom out and say, you can't take anything with you. We're all gonna go leaving everything material back, right? And I don't want to go too deep into this philosophical talk here, but it is in the end what's holding you back from living your full life to its fullest potential. So if if you only don't want to lose your house because of the vase your auntie was giving to you 20 years back, ask yourself, is that what's going to make you happy at the end of your life? Oh yes, I still have that base. Oh no, I have now 20 years filled with extra ordinary experiences that are, yeah, priceless. So that is something that I encourage you to do and think about first before you go. And then communicate your plans. Not only, I mean, if you're single, no strings attached at all, this is going to be a lot easier. But it's even with your couple or your children, it's doable. All you need to do is keep in mind that we're all individuals and have individual visions of certain things. So make sure that you communicate everything from the start and talk about the things, and listen to what your family members, your couple says, and then try to adjust your agenda, your plan accordingly. You have to have everyone on board and get excited for this new chapter in your life. Only then you can pull into the same direction and make this also enjoyable. Yeah, and then one crucial thing is connect with like-minded people. You might notice that when you talk to some people at home, they will look at you saying, mm, uh, traveling full time, going out there, not knowing where to go in 3 months, not having a plan, all these kind of things will stress out the average person without disrespect. But usually we're conditioned to know exactly what's going to happen. So whoever you will talk to, choose wisely when you talk about your plans. There might be people who pull you down, and there might be people who push you up. And connecting with like-minded people, like the ones that are in this group, is a really smart step to do. It will show you that you're not the only one, that it's not that crazy, that it's doable, that people are already living your future ideal version of your life. So it will encourage you, it will keep you motivated and focused. And obviously it's also fun to mingle amongst those people, because then you can exchange and get advice and thrive off each other. So that's one thing. So finding groups like this, being active in our community, but then also when you go to your first location that you choose, look on Facebook. There's, for every location, I guarantee, not every, but for most hotspots out there are Facebook groups. So if you type in, well, one of the classical one, Bali digital nomads, you will find a huge community of people. You can post your questions there, how to find what, where, and how to meet people when, where. So there's events and everything going on. This will help you getting set up, of course, and ease into this lifestyle a lot easier as if you do it all on your own. And then, of course, yeah, get help from experts. So that's why I created my digital nomad coaching business, because I want to support you, people like you who are in this stage of finding and gathering all the information. So there's no fluff, there's no bullshit. I will always be able to answer from my personal story and based on my experience. And if I don't know it because I haven't gone through it, because you come from a different country, because you want to go to a different country, then I definitely know someone who was in your who was in that country, because I have met so many people on the road that will help you find a lot quicker your information than by searching or browsing the web. And yeah, so let's move on to the FAQs that I get a lot. I will only briefly go through them, still keeping this live, relevant, and also open to your actual questions. So feel free to fire them when you watch this. But most people ask me, how do you actually do it with kids? How do you live that lifestyle with kids? Is that even possible? Yeah, yes, that's easily answered. Yes, it's possible. And how do I do it? It's not simply answered, to be honest. I can't give a short answer to this, because it requires a lot of planning, organization. It yeah, it comes from knowing exactly what it requires, what it all entails. So we, as a digital nomad couple, decided to become digital nomad parents. Obviously, had this experience of traveling on a constant basis before we had our kids, which helped us to know of what we are going to focus on, and what we need to, yeah, pay attention, and what it's gonna be like. Now my kids are 2 and 4 years old, and they're not school age kids uh, at the moment, but we're already tapping into that field of education. What are we going to do when my oldest turns 5, and yeah, will become a school age kid? So there are so many aspects and topics related to this question that it's impossible for me to cover them all right now. But to give you an idea, we have an established routine, a schedule, and a family calendar is key in order to make this work. So everyone knows what's going to happen. Everyone, I mean, the little ones won't look into the calendar, obviously. By everyone, I mean me and my partner. We are having a mutual calendar, and we have a routine. so that both of us have an equal amount of time to work on our businesses, but then also have enough time to spend daytime time with our kids, because there's so little. I don't want to spend all my days working and then seeing them only in the evening and kiss them goodnight. I could have stayed in Germany and sent them to daycare if I wanted to do that. Um, that's exactly not what you want when you create a digital nomad lifestyle with your family. You want to spend more quality time with your kids and partner, and you can do that by creating smart uh, time windows, time frames, having the flexibility to work whenever, thanks to our online businesses, that we can actually create our work schedule around our private schedule. So yes, I do have client calls. Yes, I do have to adjust my schedule sometimes to somebody else's schedule, but that's the exception, and that's something that I can do, because then my partner jumps in and takes over, or due to time zone differences, I can sometimes do some work in the evening, which I don't mind, because if I had an entire day of playtime and at the pool or at the beach, or having a trip to see whatever, elephants or whatnot, I'm okay with working a few hours in the evening. That, of course, is something that you need to find out for yourself, but I have a tool, a system, and I can help you set that up so that you and your family can actually live to the fullest this lifestyle without the overwhelm, without the frustration or exhaustion, because you want to juggle everything by yeah, seeing all the good things out there and then also running your business, or meeting your clients' deadlines. So it's definitely doable, and it all requires or comes down to a proven system, schedule, like I just said. And yeah, so what about income? I already touched that in the beginning a little bit. We have multiple income streams. So I would never suggest that you only create one income stream. If possible, at least 3 or 4 or 5. Like I said in the beginning, I do one-on-one coachings. I have an online course now. I do have an ebook. The website is monetized in various different ways. I don't want to bore you. I already said that. My partner obviously has his own project. So it's a combination of a lot of things, running workshops, public speaking gigs, and so on and so forth. Um, question, and I also touched on this a little bit in the beginning. You can rent out your house or apartment at home and have a passive income. For example, if you're in the lucky position to own properties, that's one way. Then obviously having digital products or services that sell on autopilot, because they're downloadable, they're on demand, like an online course, an ebook, like I just mentioned. That's something many people do. Uh, then looking into cryptocurrency is very popular at the moment. I'm not a financial advisor. Funding their lifestyle with cryptocurrencies. And yeah, where to meet like-minded people is another popular question. It is definitely on social media that I encourage you to look through. Facebook for me is the #1 platform where you can find groups that are related to this lifestyle, where you can find groups to any topic or location that you are laying your eyes on. So if you have any questions related to your next destination, ask your question in this group. I'm sure there's people more than happy to help you out, or then you go and do your location specific search on Facebook, and you will find your answer as well. And then by simply talking to people also in your normal day-to-day life, before you go, or when you're on the route, when you go into your next hotel, hostel, apartment, Airbnb, whatever it is you choose to do. Talk to the local people, talk to the tourists to you, next to you. They might be also long-term travelers. You never know. Being open-minded, flexible, communicative, talking about the things, making it real by talking about them is key. Yeah, so I'm now getting the feeling that I talked a lot, and I hope you found this useful and valuable. Of course, I could spend hours talking about this, and you can tell that I'm passionate about this lifestyle. This is also why I created my newest course, which is called Life by Design, which I quickly want to share with you if you haven't seen me raving about it yet. We recently launched it. It's up on Teachable. You can check it out. I will leave the link in the comments below. But briefly, it's for digital nomad families, for aspiring digital nomad families or couples who want to start this lifestyle. So I had everything that I went through today in mind when I designed the course. So all the questions, all the topics that I briefly touched up on today is in there in more detail with resources, with links, um, with worksheets and checklists, so that you, when you are preparing to transition and when you're preparing to start this new lifestyle, that you have a guidance and a blueprint how to go from which point to the next without getting lost in the cyberspace by Googling and researching on the web. So if you want to check it out, please feel free to click the link below and send it to anyone you think they might be interested in it. If you want to become an affiliate of this course, please send me a DM as well. I have an affiliate program because it might not be the course for you. You already live the digital nomad lifestyle, but perhaps you know other families or couples who want to become digital nomad families. Then this course might be of use to them. Let me know. There is a program so you can sign up and earn for every referral that you send my way. That's all for now. I'm wishing you all a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoy it wherever you are. I will sip on my watermelon juice for a little bit more, and then I'm off to see the sunset with my kids, I think. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.